Hey guys, tonight we're settling into a quiet corner of your mind where the hum of daily life softens and the edges of being enough blur just a little. We are going to meet someone you might already know, maybe even a bit too well. The person who shapes their entire world around what others need so much so that they start to forget who they are beneath it all. It's a slow, gentle journey without pressure or hurry, just a soft unfolding into stillness. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, if you feel like it, drop your time and location in the comments. It's nice to know we're all gathered here, scattered across different places, but sharing this quiet moment together. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're always the one who adjusts the chair first, smoothing out the creases in the cushions, like a quiet ritual before everyone settles in. It's a small act, unnoticed by most, but it feels important to you, the way you steady the room and smooth the edges of tension that gather in corners like dust. Psychologists still debate whether this habit is a subtle cry for control or just an unconscious gesture of care. Your thoughts sit in tiny office chairs, holding clipboards, making lists you don't always remember writing. Somewhere deep down, you realize you have been shaping yourself like a clay figure in the hands of those around you, molding your edges to fit their expectations, their comfort, their ease. You wear your willingness like a second skin, soft and stretchy, adapting to every curve and nook. The faces you show are mirrors of others' needs, smiling when they want smiles, quiet when they want peace, strong when they want reassurance. Psychologists still debate whether this shape-shifting is a survival mechanism or a slow erasure of self. Your name feels distant, like a song you used to hum but forgot the words to. In the quiet moments, when the room empties and the noise fades, you catch yourself searching for it. It's not just a word, but a feeling, a pulse, an echo of who you were before the yes became automatic, before boundaries blurred into fading lines. Your thoughts sit on tiny benches, waiting for a meeting that never seems to start. The unraveling is gentle, but relentless, like a sweater slowly pulling apart at the seams. You notice how your own needs have become quiet whispers beneath the roaring demands of others. You're always there, adjusting, listening, agreeing, soothing, until your own voice is a faint hum beneath the chorus. Psychologists still debate whether over-accommodation is a choice or a conditioned response shaped by early needs to belong and be loved. One evening, maybe after a long day of smiling through exhaustion, you catch a moment of stillness, a breath held between two worlds. It's small, almost invisible, like the pause between notes in a song that holds everything together. In that space, the layers peel back just enough to show a glimpse of you, raw, real, a little scared, but quietly brave. Your thoughts stretch out on soft rugs, stretching their limbs after a long day, confined to stiff chairs. You realize that forgetting your own name isn't a tea about losing yourself completely, but about how tired you are from always being the one, the caretaker, the fixer, the quiet shadow who folds herself into the background so others can shine. You are not just the sum of their expectations, though it often feels that way. Psychologists still debate whether identity loss from people-pleasing is reversible, or if it requires rebuilding from the ground up. In the soft dimness of your room, with the fan humming gently like a lullaby, you begin to understand that this moment of stillness is not an end, but a beginning. It's the first quiet step inward, a tentative turning toward your own heart. You don't have to solve the puzzle tonight. Just hold the pieces gently, without pressure or judgment. Your thoughts curl up on soft cushions, resting quietly before the next day's demands. The journey isn't, to you, about fixing what feels broken, but about learning to be kind to the parts of you that have been silent for too long. You are not alone in this slow unraveling. So many carry the quiet weight of bending too far to please. Psychologists still debate whether empathy is a gift or a burden when it overshadows self-care. As your eyelids grow heavy, folding like soft petals, closing against the night, you feel a small, tender hope that maybe in time the name you forgot will return whispered gently by your own voice rather than called out by others. For now, you rest in this quiet knowing, wrapped in the gentle hum of night and the soft comfort of being seen, even if only by yourself. And with that, you drift deeper into sleep, carried softly by the night's lullaby, held gently by the promise of tomorrow's quiet beginning. You feel the softness of the night pressing gently against your skin, a quiet reminder that the world can be kind even when you've been so busy giving kindness away. It's in this silence that you begin to notice how often you've been the shadow fading just enough to keep others in the light, and how that fading has left parts of you dimmed, almost forgotten. Psychologists still debate whether this self-effacement is learned or instinctive, a quiet dance between survival and the desire to belong. Your thoughts settle now like dust motes floating in a slow beam of light, gentle, aimless, delicate. They remind you of an old office desk where the papers have piled up unnoticed, waiting patiently for someone to sift through them. But tonight, there's no urgency to sort or fix. You let the papers lie, soft and unruffled. You're used to being the one who reads the room, who senses the undercurrents and smooths the rough edges, often before anyone else even notices the cracks. It's a tiring role, one that asks you to hold space not just for others, but for their expectations, their moods, their fears. And in holding so much, you sometimes forget the shape of your own boundaries, those quiet fences that protect your heart's garden. Psychologists still debate whether healthy boundaries can be rebuilt once they've been so gently and persistently bowed. The feeling of forgetting your own name is not just metaphorical. It settles in your bones, a gentle erosion of certainty and self. It's the slow blurring of the I beneath layers of you and them. Sometimes you catch yourself hesitating before answering, unsure if the voice that replies is really yours or just an echo of what you think others want to hear. Your thoughts sit at a small cafe table, nursing teacups filled with memories and quiet questions. Yet, within this soft unraveling, there is a subtle strength, a resilience quietly gathering. In moments when the world quiets and the noise falls away, you sense the faintest pulse of self stirring beneath the exhaustion. It's a small, tender flame, flickering against the dusk. Psychologists still debate whether this spark is the beginning of healing or merely the mind's way of resting before continuing to give. There's a fragile kind of bravery in allowing yourself this moment of stillness. You're not rushing toward an answer or a fix. You're simply breathing, observing, and, perhaps for the first time in a long while, listening to the silence between your thoughts. It feels like standing on a quiet beach, the waves pulling gently at your feet, inviting you to pause and feel the rhythm of the tide. Your thoughts recline in old armchairs, settling into the comfort of quiet companionship. You realize that the journey inward isn't a race or a rescue mission. It's a slow unfolding, a gradual remembering that your worth isn't tied to the endless giving, the constant adjusting, or the quiet erasure. There's grace in this gentle reclaiming, a tender permission to rest and to be seen exactly as you are. Psychologists still debate whether self compassion can truly replace the need for external validation. But in this moment, you feel its quiet power. Your body, heavy with the day's burdens, softens further. You feel the pull of the night's embrace, like sinking into a deep, warm bath that eases every knot and tightness. You are held here, safe from demands and expectations. A small smile touches your lips, not because everything is solved, but because for now, you are enough. Your thoughts nestle in soft blankets, wrapped safely in the warmth of quiet understanding. And as you settle deeper into this gentle space, your mind and body begin to drift, slowly, softly, without effort, toward a rest that doesn't ask for perfection or productivity, only presence and peace. You are allowed this. You are deserving of this. You are home, even if only for this night. With a final sigh, you let go. The hum of the fan, the softness of your bed, and the quiet heartbeat of the night cradle you into sleep, carrying you gently toward the promise of dawn and the tender hope of rediscovery. Good night. The quiet night wraps around you like a well-worn blanket, soft, familiar, and endlessly comforting. In this gentle cocoon, the relentless pulse of needing to please, to adjust, to be everything for everyone begins to slow. You feel the steady rhythm of your breath, in and out, like the tide's soothing dance with the shore. Psychologists still debate whether this slow breathing is the body's way of whispering, "It's safe now. You can rest." Your thoughts have settled into a gentle murmur, no longer racing or demanding. They remind you of small paper boats floating lazily on a calm pond, moving with the current rather than against it. These boats carry fragments of yourself, memories, feelings, hopes that you once thought lost, now drifting closer, inviting a soft reunion. Your mind's tiny library has opened its windows, letting in fresh air and quiet light. You remember how often you've put others first, how your own name has sometimes felt like a distant echo in a crowded room. It's not that you don't care about yourself, it's that caring for others became a habit, a reflex, the safe path to connection and approval. Psychologists still debate whether this pattern is born from a deep desire for love or a protective shield against rejection. Tonight, you don't have to be the fixer, the listener, the organizer. You can just be. The edges of your identity, once worn thin by constant adjustment, begin to soften. You imagine your true self as a tree with deep roots, sturdy and quiet, beneath the shifting seasons. Sometimes, the branches must bend to the wind, but the roots remain firm, unseen but unshakable. Your thoughts settle, like leaves drifting gently to the ground, each one a quiet testament to your resilience. The room feels alive with gentle sounds, the soft hum of the fan, the distant rustle of trees, the whisper of your own breath. These sounds become a lullaby, a slow, steady heartbeat of the night itself, inviting you into a safe space where nothing is demanded and everything is allowed. You are part of this quiet symphony, a note held long and tender, a smile, small and real, plays at the corners of your lips, a recognition of the bravery it takes to pause, to breathe, to simply be. The journey inward is not about fixing or changing, but about kindness, patience, and gentle acceptance. Psychologists still debate whether self kindness is the first step toward healing, but tonight you feel its quiet strength. Your body sinks deeper into the bed, muscles unwinding like soft ribbons, unraveling with ease. The weight of exhaustion becomes a balm, heavy but sweet, pulling you toward rest. You think of your name again, not as a word to be shouted or claimed, but as a soft song hummed close to your heart, waiting to be remembered in your own time. And as your eyelids flutter closed, folding gently like petals in a quiet garden, you feel the boundaries between day and night, self and other, ease and effort blur softly into peace. You carry with you the tender hope that tomorrow will hold space for you, not just as someone who gives, but as someone who is. You are safe, you are enough, and now you are softly, slowly falling into the deep, healing arms of sleep. The darkness behind your eyelids stretches wide and soft, like a quiet ocean just before dawn. You are adrift on this vast expanse, weightless and calm, your breath the gentle current guiding you forward. Each inhale brings a quiet warmth, like the first light spilling across the horizon. Each exhale lets go a little more of the day's demands, folding them away like fragile paper boats set free upon the water. You notice how often you've been the one to adjust the temperature of a room, to lower your voice so others feel heard, to smile when your heart felt heavy. This quiet attentiveness, while beautiful in its generosity, has sometimes blurred the lines between who you are and who you need to be for others. Psychologists still debate whether this shape shifting is a survival skill or a slow fading of self. Your thoughts settle into a soft rhythm, like distant waves gently lapping a shore you haven't quite reached. They remind you of small, worn journals tucked away on a shelf, pages filled with stories not quite told, memories half forgotten, a name whispered softly in the dark. Your mind's library opens its doors just a crack tonight, inviting you to step inside without hurry or fear. The room hums softly with familiar sounds, the hum of a fan, the distant murmur of traffic, the quiet breath of night settling around you. These sounds are like a lullaby sung by the world itself, steady and sure, inviting you to rest in their embrace. You feel yourself becoming part of this gentle chorus, single note held long and tender. A smile warms your lips as you remember the courage it takes to simply pause, to lay down the endless, yes, and of course, and just a minute. This moment of stillness is not a weakness, but a quiet act of rebellion, a reclaiming of the self beneath the layers of obligation. Psychologists still debate whether this reclaiming is a slow unfolding or a sudden awakening, but tonight you feel it softly blossoming within you. Your body, tired yet strong, sinks deeper into the mattress. Muscles once tight with tension now soften like melted wax, spreading warmth through your limbs. The weight of exhaustion is not a burden, but a gentle pull toward peace, a slow descent into the sanctuary of rest. You think again of your name, not just the word others use, but the feeling it carries, the essence it holds. It is a song waiting to be sung softly, without demand or expectation. You carry it tenderly in your heart, a secret treasure, rediscovered in the quiet. As your eyelids close fully, folding like petals, sheltering a delicate bloom, you feel the edge between waking and dreaming blur softly. You are safe, you are enough, and you are carried gently, beautifully, into the healing stillness of sleep. The darkness behind your eyelids feels like a gentle shroud, soft and enveloping, cradling you in a space where the constant noise of yes, of course, and just a minute finally quiets. You float here, weightless, wrapped in the gentle hum of the night's embrace. Your breath, slow and steady, carries you forward like a small boat drifting on a calm river. Each inhale a quiet invitation, each exhale a gentle surrender. You remember how often you've been the one to soften your edges for others, to tune your voice to the frequency of another's needs, smoothing the wrinkles of tension before they even form. It's a quiet, often invisible labor, shaping yourself into a shape that fits someone else's expectations. Like water, finding the curves of its container, psychologists still debate whether this shape-shifting is a survival instinct or a slow fading of selfhood. Your thoughts settle into a gentle rhythm, like leaves, floating lazily down a slow-moving stream. They remind you of the scattered pages of a diary, half hidden beneath a pile of other voices and demands, waiting patiently for you to turn to them again. Your mind's quiet corners invite you now, softly lighting up with memories and feelings that have been tucked away, waiting for your gentle attention. The soft sounds of the night weave around you, the distant rustle of trees, the whisper of a fan, the faint pulse of the city settling down. These familiar noises form a gentle symphony, a lullaby that holds you tenderly. You become part of this peaceful chorus, a note suspended in the calm. A small, tender smile touches your lips, a recognition of the bravery it takes to pause, to lay down the weight of people's expectations, and listen for your own quiet voice. This stillness is not a retreat, but a reclamation, a soft reclaiming of who you are beneath the roles you play. Psychologists still debate whether this reclaiming is a slow, gradual process or a sudden awakening, but tonight you feel it like a seed beginning to bloom within. Your body relaxes fully, muscles unwinding like silk threads loosened from tension. The heaviness you feel is sweet, a welcome anchor that grounds you in the present, allowing you to sink deeper into rest. You think of your name, not just the word, but the essence it carries, the unique song that is yours alone. It hums softly within, waiting for you to remember. Your eyelids flutter closed like soft petals folding beneath the moon's tender light. The boundary between waking and dreaming softens, and you drift gently, beautifully, into the quiet sanctuary of sleep, held enough, and finally at peace. The quiet dark behind your eyelids is thick and soft, like a velvet curtain drawn gently across the day's loudness. You feel yourself sinking deeper into this darkness, the familiar hum of the fan blending with the steady rhythm of your breath. Each inhale brings in a little more peace. Each exhale releases another layer of tension, folding away the sharp edges of the day. Psychologists still debate whether this rhythmic breathing can truly reset the body's anxious systems, or if it is simply the mind, its way of coaxing itself toward calm. But tonight, it feels like a tender invitation you gladly accept. Your thoughts have slowed, no longer marching with urgency or order, but drifting lazily like leaves caught in a slow-moving stream. They remind you of a worn-out notebook you once left on a windowsill, pages curling and yellowed, filled with forgotten sketches and half-written sentences. You don't need to revisit every line tonight. You simply acknowledge their presence, gentle and patient, like old friends waiting quietly in the background. You realize how often you've bent yourself into shapes meant for others, folding and adjusting until your own edges blurred into softness you barely recognized. Like a shadow stretching too thin to hold its own form, you have given yourself away bit by bit, sometimes without noticing. Psychologists still debate whether this endless adaptation is a learned behavior or a natural attempt to find belonging in a complex world. Yet here, in this moment, beneath the quiet hum and soft blankets, you sense something shifting, a small, tender space opening inside you where your true self might begin to breathe again. It's a fragile moment, like the hush before dawn, filled with promise and calm uncertainty. Your thoughts lounge in cozy armchairs, sipping warm tea, savoring the rare luxury of stillness. You are not required to fix, to answer, to perform. The world's demands grow faint, replaced by the gentle invitation to simply be, to listen, to feel, to rest. This is not surrender, but a subtle reclaiming, a slow and delicate peeling away of the layers that no longer serve you. Psychologists still debate whether self-compassion can fully replace the need for external validation, but you feel its soothing power blooming quietly within. Your body grows heavy, sinking like a stone into a soft bed of moss. Warm and yielding, muscles release their tight grip, spreading warmth through your limbs like honey melting slowly on a cool morning. You carry the weight of your own name again, not just the word others use, but the essence that has always been yours, waiting patiently to be remembered. A gentle smile curves your lips, a quiet acknowledgement of the courage it takes to pause, to step back from the endless cycle of pleasing and adapting. You rest here, held by the night's tender arms, safe to simply exist without expectation or demand. Your eyelids close fully now, folding like petals in a midnight garden. The boundary between wakefulness and dreams softens, dissolving into a warm, tender haze. You drift slowly, beautifully, into the deep, healing quiet of sleep, where peace waits patiently, ready to cradle you through the night. Good night. The darkness behind your eyelids deepens, thickening into a gentle silence that feels like the softest quilt wrapped around your shoulders. You're carried by your breath, steady and unhurried, each inhale gathering calm like a quiet wave, each exhale releasing tension like a leaf slipping from a branch into still water. Psychologists still debate whether this slow rhythm is the body's way of whispering, "You are safe now," or simply the mind's gentle lullaby coaxing you toward rest. Tonight, it feels like a promise you want to hold. Your thoughts have softened, no longer sharp or urgent, but floating gently, like clouds drifting across an endless, quiet sky. They remind you of old photographs tucked away in a drawer, familiar, worn edges, memories waiting patiently to be seen again, but not demanded. You let them be, not chasing or holding, simply watching their slow dance with the night. You remember how often you've molded yourself to others' needs, bending quietly until your own edges blurred into softness you barely recognize. Like a shadow stretched thin, you gave yourself away, bit by bit, sometimes without even noticing. Psychologists still debate whether this endless adaptation is learned or instinctual, a quiet survival or a tender cost. Here, in this stillness, beneath the hum of the fan and the weight of the night, small space opens inside you. It is fragile and tender, like the hush before dawn, a quiet room where your true self can begin to breathe again. Your thoughts recline in soft chairs, sipping warmth, savoring this rare pause. You are no longer required to fix, to perform, or to answer. The world's demands grow faint, replaced by the gentle invitation to simply be, to listen, to feel, to rest. This is not surrender, but a reclaiming, a slow peeling away of the layers that no longer serve you. Psychologists still debate whether self-compassion can replace external validation, but you feel its quiet strength growing within. Your body grows heavy, sinking like a stone into soft moss, warm and yielding. Muscles release their tight grip, warmth spreading through limbs like honey melting on a cool morning. You carry the weight of your own name again, not just the word others use, but the essence always yours, waiting patiently to be found. A gentle smile curves your lips, a quiet acknowledgement of the courage it takes to pause, to step back from endless pleasing and adapting. You rest here, held by the night's tender arms, safe to simply exist without demand. Your eyelids fold closed like petals in a midnight garden. The boundary between wakefulness and dreams softens, dissolving into warm haze. You drift slowly, beautifully, into the healing quiet of sleep, where peace waits patiently to cradle you through the night. Good night. The quiet darkness cradling you feels infinite and soft, like a gentle sea of velvet waves rolling beneath your closed eyelids. Your breath is steady, slow, each inhale drawing in a delicate calm, each exhale releasing the last tendrils of the day's demands. Psychologists still debate whether the simple act of noticing your breath can ease the restless mind, but tonight it feels like a tender lullaby sung just for you. Your thoughts drift gently now, no longer racing or demanding, but flowing like petals on a slow-moving stream, light, aimless, and soft. They remind you of scattered letters, left unopened on a windowsill, waiting patiently for you to return, without expectation or pressure. You let them float by, content to watch, without grasping, knowing they will settle when the time is right. You recall the many times you folded yourself into the shape others needed, quieting your voice, softening your edges, smoothing your presence, until the you beneath became a faint outline, blurred by kindness given so freely. Psychologists still debate whether this shape-shifting is a protective shield or a quiet erasure of self. But tonight, you simply notice without judgment. In this gentle stillness, a small, fragile space opens within you, a room painted in soft hues of rest and possibility. It is here that your true self waits, not loud or demanding, but steady and warm, like the glow of a candle flickering softly in a quiet room. Your thoughts curl up beside it, like a cat settling into the glow of a hearth. You don't need to fix or change anything tonight. The world's expectations soften and fade, replaced by the quiet invitation to simply be, to breathe, to feel, to rest. Psychologists still debate whether self-compassion can fully heal the wounds of overgiving, but tonight you feel its quiet power like a gentle tide. Your body sinks deeper, heavy with the sweet weight of release. Muscles unfurl and relax, warmth spreading like honey melting into velvet. The familiar pull of exhaustion becomes a balm, an anchor that grounds you firmly in the present, safe and held. Your name, once a whispered echo, lost beneath the chorus of yes and of course, now hums softly beneath your breath. It is a secret song, waiting to be sung gently, on your own time, in your own voice. A tender smile plays on your lips, a quiet acknowledgement of the courage it takes to pause, to step back, to find stillness amid the noise. You rest here, embraced by the night's gentle arms, safe to simply be. Your eyelids close fully now, folding like delicate petals under the moon's soft light. The boundary between waking and dreaming softens, dissolving into a warm haze. You drift slowly, beautifully, into the healing sanctuary of sleep, where peace waits patiently to cradle you through the night. Good night. The quiet darkness behind your eyelids feels like a soft, endless blanket, folding gently over the weight of your day. Your breath moves slow and steady, a calm tide that rises and falls without effort, carrying you further away from the noise and closer into stillness. Psychologists still debate whether this rhythm is the body's whispered invitation to rest or the mind's way of slowing its endless chatter. But tonight, you feel it as a quiet promise, safe, steady, and kind. Your thoughts float by like tiny lanterns drifting over a still lake, each one flickering briefly before fading into the calm. They remind you of forgotten letters tucked away in an old drawer, messages from yourself, waiting patiently for the right moment to be read again. You think of all the ways you've shaped yourself around others, the quiet nods, the practiced smiles, the softening of your voice to fit into spaces that weren't always made for you. It's a slow dance of giving, sometimes graceful, sometimes exhausting, where your own name felt like a distant echo. Psychologists still debate whether this adaptation is a survival skill or a quiet fading of the self. But tonight, you just acknowledge the softness beneath the weariness. In the tender hush of this moment, a small space opens inside you, a place where you might begin to remember who you are beneath the layers of yes and please. It is fragile and still, like a single flower blooming in a shaded garden, quietly waiting for the sun. Your thoughts settle nearby, like old friends sharing warm tea in the gentle glow of a fireplace. You don't need to solve anything tonight. The world's demands recede, replaced by the simple invitation to be, to breathe, to feel, to rest without apology or expectation. This is a gentle reclaiming of yourself, a soft unfolding of self-compassion. Psychologists still debate whether this kindness toward oneself can heal the deepest wounds. But tonight, you feel its quiet strength growing like a steady flame. Your body softens, sinking into the mattress as muscles loosen and warmth spreads slowly through you. The heaviness is not a burden, but a gentle anchor, grounding you in this moment of peace. You carry your name softly now, not as a word shouted into the noise, but as a whispered song held close to your heart. A smile, quiet and tender, curves your lips, a small celebration of your courage to rest, to pause, to simply be. You are held here, cradled by the night's gentle arms, safe and enough, just as you are. Your eyelids fold closed like delicate petals, closing in the dusk. The boundary between waking and dreaming blurs softly, a slow, sweet drift into the warm embrace of sleep. You carry with you the quiet grace of this moment, the knowing that you are whole, that you are safe, and that rest will come gently, holding you through the night. And as you float deeper into the hush, you drift slowly, beautifully, into the endless calm of dreams. Good night. The darkness behind your eyelids is soft and familiar now, a quiet blanket that tucks you in gently. Your breath flows slow and even, like the steady rhythm of waves lapping at a shore you know well. Each inhale draws in calm, each exhale releases a little more of the day's weight. Psychologists still debate whether the body's natural rhythms can truly quiet a restless mind. But tonight, you simply trust the gentle pull toward peace. Your thoughts have softened into a kind of quiet chorus, no longer demanding attention, but humming softly like distant music heard through a closed window. They remind you of old letters kept safe in a drawer, filled with words once urgent, but now peaceful, waiting patiently to be reread when you're ready. You watch them pass by without reaching or holding, letting the quiet wash over you. You think about how often you've shaped yourself to fit the needs of others, bending and folding until your own edges blurred beyond recognition, like a shadow stretched thin across a sunlit wall. You've given yourself away, little by little, sometimes without even realizing it. Psychologists still debate whether this is a learned survival or a tender self-sacrifice. Tonight, you honor the soft ache beneath the giving. In the stillness, a small space opens inside you, a delicate room painted in quiet colors, a safe haven where your true self can breathe again. It's fragile but steady, like the first light of dawn filtering through curtains, offering warmth without rush. Your thoughts curl up nearby like a cat resting by a fire, soft and content. You're not required to fix, to answer, or to perform. The world's demands fade, replaced by an invitation to simply be, to breathe, to feel, to rest without judgment or expectation. This moment is a gentle reclaiming, a tender unfolding of kindness toward yourself. Psychologists still debate whether this self-compassion is the key to healing, but tonight you feel its quiet strength. Your body softens, muscles unwinding like silk ribbons, released from tension. The heaviness you feel is sweet and grounding, an anchor holding you gently in the present moment. Your name, once faint and distant beneath layers of others' needs, now hums softly within you, a song waiting to be sung. A tender smile touches your lips, a quiet celebration of the courage it takes to pause and listen to your own heart. You rest here, embraced by the night's gentle arms, safe to simply exist as you are. Your eyelids close fully now, folding like petals in a quiet garden under the moon's watchful gaze. The line between waking and dreaming blurs softly, opening into the warm embrace of sleep. You carry with you the grace of this moment, the knowing that you are enough, that you are safe, and that rest will come gently, cradling you through the night. And as you drift deeper into the calm, you float slowly, beautifully, into the sanctuary of dreams. Good night. The darkness behind your eyelids deepens into a soothing, infinite space where time feels like it has slowed to a gentle pulse. Your breath, slow and steady, is a quiet rhythm that anchors you to this moment, a tender conversation between your body and the soft night around you. Psychologists still debate whether this breath holds the power to calm the busiest mind, or if it simply invites your awareness home. But tonight, it is both your anchor and your lullaby. Your thoughts, once bustling and insistent, now drift lazily, Like clouds stretched across a calm sky, they move without urgency, whispering soft fragments of memories and feelings that have been tucked away, waiting patiently for your gentle attention. Your mind feels like an old library where forgotten books rest on wooden shelves, their pages quietly waiting to be opened and cherished once more. You remember how often you have softened yourself like melting wax shaped by the hands of others, hoping to fit the molds laid out before you. The edges of your true self blurred beneath layers of yes and maybe later, until you started to wonder what it felt like to be simply you. Psychologists still debate whether this adaptive kindness is a protective veil or a quiet erosion of identity, but you feel the truth of both in your heart. In the stillness of this moment, a tender space opens, a quiet room within you, painted in soft hues of rest and possibility. It is fragile yet warm, like a tiny flame flickering steadily in a safe hearth. Your thoughts gather gently around this light, resting, unfolding, growing quiet in the presence of calm. You don't have to solve or fix anything tonight. The world's endless demands fade, replaced by the invitation to simply be, to breathe, to feel, to rest without expectation or judgment. This is a soft reclaiming, a slow and gentle return to kindness for yourself. Psychologists still debate whether self-compassion can fully heal the wounds of constant giving, but you feel its quiet power growing softly within. Your body relaxes deeply, muscles unwinding, like vines released from a tight embrace. The heaviness you feel is sweet and grounding, a comforting weight that anchors you in the present, safe and held. Your name hums quietly beneath your breath, not just a word, but a song of belonging, waiting patiently to be sung aloud in your own time. A smile, soft and real, curves your lips, a quiet celebration of your courage to pause, to step back from the relentless cycle, to find peace in stillness. You rest here, cradled by the night's gentle arms, safe to simply exist as you are. Your eyelids close fully now, folding like petals beneath the moon's tender gaze. The boundary between waking and dreaming softens, dissolving into a warm, inviting haze. You drift slowly, beautifully, into the healing sanctuary of sleep, where peace waits patiently to carry you through the night. Good night. The night wraps around you like a soft, familiar shawl, its gentle folds comforting and steadying. Behind your closed eyelids, the darkness feels alive with a quiet warmth, like embers glowing softly in a hearth that has been patiently waiting to welcome you home. Your breath moves like a slow, calm river, each inhale drawing in peace, each exhale letting go a little more of the day's noise and expectation. Psychologists still debate whether this gentle rhythm truly soothes the mind, or if it simply offers a place to rest. And perhaps tonight, it does both. Your thoughts have softened into a delicate flutter, like moths circling a distant light, their movements slow and tentative. They remind you of a scattered collection of postcards from your own soul, messages waiting patiently to be pieced back together, to reconnect with a story that is uniquely yours. You watch them float gently past, no longer urgent or insistent, simply present. You remember how often you folded yourself to fit the shapes others carved out, smoothing your edges until your reflection became a blur. Like water pressed into different vessels, you adapted quietly, sometimes forgetting the contours of your own form. Psychologists still debate whether this constant reshaping is a skillful dance or a slow fading. But here, in the soft dark, you feel the tender pull to remember your own shape. In this still moment, a small, fragile space blooms inside you, a sanctuary painted with gentle light and soft shadows. It is the beginning of a return, slow journey back to the self that has been patiently waiting beneath the layers. Your thoughts settle like soft cushions around this space, inviting you to rest and be held. You don't need to solve or repair tonight. The world's demands quiet, replaced by an invitation to simply be, to breathe, to feel, to exist without the weight of expectation. This is not surrender, but a gentle reclaiming, a slow, kind unfolding of your own heart. Psychologists still debate whether self-compassion can truly mend the fractures of constant giving. But you feel its gentle strength warming your spirit. Your body softens completely, muscles releasing their hold, like petals unfurling in a peaceful garden. The heaviness you feel is not a burden, but a warm anchor, grounding you gently in this moment of calm. Your name hums quietly beneath your breath, a song of belonging and truth, waiting to be sung softly in your own time. A gentle smile graces your lips, a quiet recognition of the courage it takes to pause, to step away from the endless cycle, and to find peace in stillness. You rest here, embraced by the night's tender arms, safe to simply be exactly as you are. Your eyelids close fully, folding like soft petals beneath the moon's watchful glow. The boundary between waking and dreaming fades softly, slow, beautiful drift into the sanctuary of sleep, where peace waits patiently to carry you through the night. Good night. The quiet darkness behind your eyelids feels like a soft, infinite ocean, each gentle wave a whisper of calm that carries you further from the demands of the day. Your breath is a slow, steady rhythm, a quiet lullaby that rocks you gently, inviting you to surrender into rest. Psychologists still debate whether this simple, mindful breathing can truly ease the mind's relentless chatter. But tonight, it feels like a tender embrace, wrapping you in safety. Your thoughts have settled into a delicate dance, light as autumn leaves drifting lazily on a still pond. They remind you of old letters, carefully tucked away in a drawer, sentiments long forgotten, but ready to be rediscovered with gentle curiosity. You watch these thoughts pass by without holding on, their soft presence like a quiet companion in the night. You remember how often you've bent yourself to fit the needs and expectations of others, softening your voice, quieting your desires, molding yourself like clay into shapes that weren't quite your own. Like a shadow stretched too thin, you've sometimes lost sight of the person you are beneath the kindness and accommodation. Psychologists still debate whether this shape-shifting is a survival instinct or a slow fading of self. But tonight, you simply notice without judgment. In this stillness, a small, fragile space opens inside you, a gentle room painted in hues of rest and possibility. It is here that your true self quietly waits, steady and warm, like the glow of a candle, flickering softly in the dark. Your thoughts curl up nearby like a cat, basking in the warmth, content to rest in this calm presence. You don't need to solve or fix anything tonight. The world's relentless demands soften and fade, replaced by an invitation to simply be, to breathe, to feel, to rest without expectation or worry. This moment is a gentle reclaiming, a slow and tender unfolding of kindness toward yourself. Psychologists still debate whether self-compassion can heal the deepest wounds of overgiving. But tonight, you feel its quiet power growing within. Your body relaxes fully, muscles unwinding like silk ribbons released from tension. The heaviness you feel is sweet and grounding, a comforting weight that anchors you in the present moment. Your name, once faint and distant beneath layers of yes and of course, now hum softly within, a song waiting to be sung gently in your own voice. A tender smile plays on your lips, a quiet celebration of your courage to pause, to step back from the endless cycle, and to find peace in stillness. You rest here, held in the night's gentle arms, safe to simply exist as you are. Your eyelids close completely, folding like petals in a moonlit garden. The boundary between waking and dreaming softens, dissolving into a warm haze. You drift slowly, beautifully, into the healing sanctuary of sleep, where peace waits patiently to carry you through the night. Good night. Hey guys, tonight we are going to sit together in a quiet corner of your mind, the place where you might find yourself, the part that spins softly hidden behind the roles you play and the smiles you offer before you even think about what you want. It's a gentle journey, slow and calm, the kind that doesn't demand you change, but simply invites you to rest, to notice, and to breathe. If you've ever felt like you're living life through everyone else's script, or you catch yourself adjusting your name, your voice, your very self to fit in, then this is for you. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, why not drop your time and location in the comments? It's a small way of reminding us all that we're not alone in this. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're always the one who adjusts the chair first. It's like a quiet ritual. You smooth the wrinkles in the cushions, straighten the throw pillows, and nudge the table a little to make room for everyone else. You do it so naturally, it's almost invisible, like a breath taken without thinking. Psychologists still debate whether these small acts of accommodation are subconscious signals of control or tender gestures of care. Your thoughts sit in tiny office chairs, holding clipboards and quietly taking notes, cataloging every please, every thank you, every unspoken expectation. Over time, you notice that the shape you wear is not quite your own. It's the shape that fits the spaces others have cleared out for you. You're a moldable figure, gently pressed and softened at the edges to fit into every nook and cranny. Psychologists still debate whether this shape-shifting is an adaptive survival mechanism or a slow erosion of self-identity. But either way, your reflection begins to blur, not because you've lost yourself, but because you're stretched so thin, folding into too many versions of what others need. The sound of your name has become a distant echo, like a half-remembered melody you hum quietly, but can't quite recall the words to. It's not that you don't know who you are exactly. It's that you've gotten so good at being what others want. You forget to listen to the part of yourself that might whisper something different. Your thoughts sit on benches in a quiet park, each waiting their turn to be heard, but never quite stepping forward. There's a slow unraveling that happens. You feel it in the evenings when you finally stop moving and the quiet creeps in. The quiet isn't restful yet. It's a soft unraveling, like a sweater slowly pulled at the seams. Psychologists still debate whether this unraveling signals burnout or the start of healing, but you notice it as a gentle softening, a loosening of tension you didn't realize you were holding so tightly. In that unraveling, there's a strange kind of loneliness too, the feeling that you're always adjusting your words, your tone, your tame. But who is really there beneath all that? Sometimes you look in the mirror and don't recognize the face looking back. Your thoughts curl up on the windowsill, gazing out at the world, but feeling far away, like a quiet visitor watching a play they don't have a part in. Yet, in the middle of this softness, there is a moment, a flicker of stillness that comes like the pause between two notes in a song. It's not loud or dramatic, but subtle and slow. It feels like a breath held in the space between chaos and calm. Psychologists still debate whether moments like these are the mind's way of resetting or the soul's gentle knocking on the door of awareness. You might notice it in the quiet room of your own thoughts, where the busy office chairs have all folded up for the night, and the clatter of clipboards has slowed to a soft shuffle. In that room, you begin to find a small peace, not because you've solved everything, but because you've allowed yourself to just be, without rushing, without fixing. The journey inward isn't a sudden awakening or a dramatic shift. It's more like the slow blooming of a flower in spring, soft, gradual, and patient. You may find yourself sitting quietly in your own company, no longer rushing to answer or accommodate, but simply present, silent observer in your own life. Psychologists still debate whether this gentle presence is learned or innate, but it is a powerful balm nonetheless. As you sink deeper into the quiet, you might start to remember your own name again, not just the word others use, but the feeling, the pulse, the rhythm of you. It's like rediscovering a song you used to know by heart, the one you hummed when no one was listening. Your thoughts settle on cozy cushions, wrapped in soft blankets, finally warm and safe. There's a delicate humor in all of this too, the irony of being the one who gave so much of yourself away, only to realize that the best gift is the one you give yourself. A small smile might play on your lips as you think about all the times you stretched yourself too thin, like a rubber band pulled taut, snapping back just enough to keep going. You rest in that smile, knowing that this slow, steady reclaiming of self doesn't need to be loud or perfect. It can be quiet, tender, and kind, like a whispered lullaby to your tired heart. Psychologists still debate whether self-kindness can fully heal the wounds of constant giving, but you feel its gentle presence tonight, holding you softly. The room around you hums with the soft sounds of night, the distant rustle of leaves, the quiet hum of a fan, the gentle pulse of your own breath. These sounds become a gentle symphony, a slow rhythm that guides you further into rest. Your body sinks into the bed, warm and heavy like a stone, melting into a soft, mossy bed. You feel yourself letting go, not with resistance, but with a quiet acceptance. The weight of exhaustion is a sweet anchor pulling you gently toward peace. Your eyelids flutter like delicate petals, folding closed beneath the moon's soft glow. The boundary between wakefulness and sleep blurs softly, a gentle haze where your mind's restless chatter softens into quiet whispers. You carry with you the tender hope that your name, your true name, is still there, waiting patiently beneath the layers. You are enough. You are safe. You are home. And as you drift deeper into the night, you float slowly, beautifully, into the warm sanctuary of dreams. Good night. The quiet darkness behind your eyelids feels like a soft, infinite ocean, each gentle wave a whisper of calm that carries you further from the demands of the day. Your breath is a slow, steady rhythm, a quiet lullaby that rocks you gently, inviting you to surrender into rest. Psychologists still debate whether this simple, mindful breathing can truly ease the mind's relentless chatter. But tonight, it feels like a tender embrace, wrapping you in safety. Your thoughts have settled into a delicate dance, light as autumn leaves drifting lazily on a still pond. They remind you of old letters, carefully tucked away in a drawer, sentiments long forgotten, but ready to be rediscovered with gentle curiosity. You watch these thoughts pass by without holding on, their soft presence like a quiet companion in the night. You remember how often you've bent yourself to fit the needs and expectations of others, softening your voice, quieting your desires, molding yourself like clay into shapes that weren't quite your own. Like a shadow stretched too thin, you've sometimes lost sight of the person you are beneath the kindness and accommodation. Psychologists still debate whether this shape-shifting is a survival instinct or a slow fading of self. But tonight, you simply notice without judgment. In this stillness, a small, fragile space opens inside you, a gentle room painted in hues of rest and possibility. It is here that your true self quietly waits, steady and warm, like the glow of a candle, flickering softly in the dark. Your thoughts curl up nearby like a cat, basking in the warmth, content to rest in this calm presence. You don't need to solve or fix anything tonight. The world's relentless demands soften and fade, replaced by an invitation to simply be, to breathe, to feel, to rest without expectation or worry. This moment is a gentle reclaiming, a slow and tender unfolding of kindness toward yourself. Psychologists still debate whether self-compassion can heal the deepest wounds of overgiving. But tonight, you feel its quiet power growing within. Your body relaxes fully, muscles unwinding like silk ribbons released from tension. The heaviness you feel is sweet and grounding, a comforting weight that anchors you in the present moment. Your name, once faint and distant beneath layers of yes and of course, now hum softly within, a song waiting to be sung gently in your own voice. A tender smile plays on your lips, a quiet celebration of your courage to pause, to step back from the endless cycle, and to find peace in stillness. You rest here, held in the night's gentle arms, safe to simply exist as you are. Your eyelids close completely, folding like petals in a moonlit garden. The boundary between waking and dreaming softens, dissolving into a warm haze. You drift slowly, beautifully, into the healing sanctuary of sleep, where peace waits patiently to carry you through the night. Good night. And yet, as you journey deeper into sleep's quiet embrace, there is a gentle unfolding, a slow, tender awakening of something forgotten beneath the weight of pleasing and bending. It is not loud or sudden, but soft and steady, like the first blush of dawn spreading pale light across a still lake. Psychologists still debate whether this awakening is the start of true healing or simply a brief rest before the work begins. But you feel it as a small pulse, steady and sure. In this space, you begin to remember the shape of your own soul, not as it has been molded by others, but as it is in its own quiet truth. It's like a garden hidden behind tall walls, wild and secret, waiting for you to find the gate. Your thoughts settle like butterflies, resting on gentle blooms, fragile and beautiful in the still air. You realize that forgetting your own name was never about losing who you are, but about surviving in a world that asked too much. You were always more than the roles you played or the smiles you offered. Psychologists still debate whether identity lost to people pleasing can be fully reclaimed. But tonight, you feel the first tender roots of rediscovery growing deep and strong. There is no rush here, no urgent demand to fix or change, just the quiet, knowing that you are enough, just as you are. The world can wait while you sit in this gentle space, cradled by your own steady breath and the soft hum of night. Your body rests heavy and warm, sinking deeper into the bed, every muscle loosening, every worry fading, like a distant echo. Your name, your true name, hums softly now, a familiar melody you can almost remember. The night's gentle pulse carries you farther, softly, slowly, beautifully. You are safe here, you are whole here, and you are deeply, profoundly at peace. Good night. The night breathes softly around you, a quiet rhythm that seems to pulse in time with your own slowing heart. You feel held, cradled in a space between wakefulness and sleep, a delicate threshold where the constant demands of yes and okay finally begin to soften. Psychologists still debate whether this space is where true rest begins or simply a pause before the mind reactivates. But tonight, it feels like a sanctuary carved just for you. Your thoughts have grown sparse, like stars scattered across a wide, dark sky. They flicker gently, distant and calm, no longer racing or pressing for attention. They remind you of the soft rustle of pages turning in an old book, each one a quiet story, patiently waiting to be read again. You watch them without judgment, allowing the quiet to deepen. You remember how often you folded yourself, bending and twisting to fit into shapes made by others. Like water pressed into different vessels, you shaped your voice, your presence, your feelings to meet expectations that were never fully yours. Psychologists still debate whether this adaptive behavior protects or diminishes the self, but you feel the weight of both truths gently settling around you. In this moment, you feel a soft stirring, a tiny flame glowing quietly beneath the surface. It is not yet bright or bold, but steady and warm, a beacon calling you back to yourself. Your thoughts curl like cozy blankets, wrapping around that flame, inviting you to rest. You don't need to fix or explain anything tonight. The world's relentless requests fade away, replaced by a quiet invitation to simply be, to breathe, to feel, to rest without apology or expectation. This is not surrender, but a gentle reclaiming of your own space, your own kindness. Psychologists still debate whether this self-kindness can undo the years of overgiving, but you feel its tender power blooming softly inside you. Your body sinks deeper into softness, muscles releasing like gentle streams, flowing free. The heaviness is not burden, but balm, grounding you in the moment with a soothing weight. Your name hums quietly in your chest, not as a label, but as a song of belonging and truth, waiting to be sung in your own time. A tender smile plays at your lips, a quiet celebration of the courage it takes to pause, to step away from the endless cycle, and to find peace in stillness. You rest here, safe and held, allowed to simply exist as you are. Your eyelids fold closed like petals, soft and full, beneath the watchful moon. The boundary between waking and dreaming softens, dissolving into a warm, gentle haze. You drift slowly, beautifully, into the deep sanctuary of sleep, where peace waits patiently to cradle you through the night. Good night. The night settles around you like a soft, comforting whisper, its calm presence easing the tension that's woven itself into your bones. Your breath moves with gentle intention, each inhale drawing in quiet calm, each exhale releasing the tight grip of obligation and expectation. Psychologists still debate whether mindful breathing acts as a true balm for the restless mind, or if it simply signals a momentary pause. Tonight, it feels like the kindest friend, inviting you to rest. Your mind no longer buzzes with urgent demands or relentless to-do lists, but flows like a slow river meandering through a quiet valley. Thoughts drift lazily, reminiscent of faded letters discovered in a forgotten box, nostalgic and tender, carrying fragments of yourself you thought lost. You observe these moments of memory without rush or resistance, allowing them to wash gently over you. You reflect on the countless ways you've softened your presence to accommodate others, bending your truths like supple branches swayed by a persistent wind. Sometimes, the weight of others' expectations feels like a cloak that obscures the warmth of your own skin. Psychologists still debate whether such molding is a protective instinct or a quiet erosion of identity. But tonight, you simply acknowledge its effect without judgment. Within this growing stillness, a fragile light kindles, a private sanctuary within your heart where your essence patiently waits to be seen again. It's not a blaze, but a flicker, steady and inviting. Like the first glow of dawn touching a sleeping garden, your thoughts gather close, like old friends settling into a cozy room, savoring the peace that now surrounds you. You don't have to repair or respond to anything this evening. The external world's ceaseless demands dim, making room for you to simply be, to breathe, to feel, to rest deeply without expectation. This moment is a quiet reclaiming, a soft unfolding of compassion directed inward. Psychologists still debate whether this self-compassion can mend the fractures of overextension, but tonight you sense its gentle strength taking root. Your body releases its tension like autumn leaves falling softly to the earth. The weight you carry is not a burden, but a soothing anchor that roots you gently in the present. Within you, your name hums quietly, not as an echo from outside, but as an intimate melody, waiting for your voice to reclaim it. A subtle smile touches your lips, born from the quiet bravery of pausing, of stepping back from endless giving to honor your own needs. You rest here, embraced by the night's tender hush, safe to exist just as you are. Your eyelids close fully, folding over you like delicate petals, closing under the moon's gentle light. The line between wakefulness and dreams melts away into a soft, welcoming haze. You drift effortlessly into the sanctuary of sleep, where peace is patient and whole. Good night. The quiet around you deepens, folding softly like a well-loved blanket, wrapping you in warmth and safety. Your breath, steady and calm, continues its gentle rhythm, a slow, deliberate tide that carries away the last remnants of tension. Psychologists still debate whether this breath holds the key to quieting the ceaseless mind, or if it's simply a signal to the body to rest. But tonight, it feels like a harbor, a place where you can safely anchor your weary spirit. Your thoughts now float freely, like lanterns released into a dusk sky, drifting without direction or demand. They remind you of forgotten poems scribbled in the margins of a journal, waiting patiently to be read aloud once more. You watch them pass, neither grasping nor resisting, content to be a silent witness to their quiet passage. You recall the many times you adapted, softened, and reshaped yourself to fit the contours of others' needs, a mosaic of kindness laid piece by piece. Sometimes you wonder if the shape you've taken is truly yours or a reflection borrowed from the faces around you. Psychologists still debate whether this chameleon like existence is a shield or a slow fade of selfhood. But tonight, you simply observe with gentle compassion. Within this quiet moment, a tender light flickers, a small room within your heart where your authentic self begins to stir. It's a space painted with the soft hues of possibility and rest, calm and inviting. Your thoughts settle around it like cherished friends, sharing warmth and silence. There is no need to fix, no need to change. The world's noise recedes, replaced by the simple permission to be, to breathe, to feel, to rest without apology. This is a reclaiming, a slow unfolding of kindness toward the self. Psychologists still debate whether a self-compassion can truly heal the fractures of overgiving. But tonight, you feel its quiet strength blossom inside you. Your body relaxes completely, every muscle uncoiling like a spring gently released. The heaviness you feel is a gentle anchor, grounding you in the present with comforting grace. Your name hums softly within, a song of belonging and truth, waiting patiently for you to remember. A gentle smile graces your lips, a quiet celebration of your bravery to pause and honor your own rhythm. You rest here, cradled in the night's soft arms, safe and whole. Your eyelids close fully now, folding like petals under the moon's tender glow. The boundary between wakefulness and dreaming dissolves, inviting you to drift slowly, beautifully, into the healing quiet of sleep. Good night. The night deepens its gentle hold, wrapping you in a tender cloak of stillness. Your breathing remains calm and measured, a soft wave washing in and out, steady and sure. Scientists ponder whether this quiet, mindful rhythm truly calms the swirling thoughts or merely signals the body to unwind. Yet now, it feels like a safe harbor, welcoming your weary soul to rest. Your mind wanders without urgency, like paper lanterns drifting on a slow, dark river, light glowing faintly against the shadowed water. These fleeting images bring to mind forgotten verses scribbled softly in old notebooks, patiently waiting for rediscovery. You allow them to drift past, neither clinging nor chasing, content to observe their gentle passage. You reflect on the many moments you reshaped yourself to fit others' expectations, weaving a mosaic of kindness from countless small compromises. Sometimes it feels as if your true form has been lost beneath borrowed reflections. Scholars debate whether this chameleon-like adaptation protects or erodes identity. But tonight, you simply acknowledge the quiet truth without judgment. Within this calm space, small glow kindles, a sanctuary within your heart where your authentic essence begins to stir. This space is painted with soft, welcoming hues, filled with possibilities and quiet rest. Your thoughts settle nearby like old friends, sharing warmth in comfortable silence. No urgent need to mend or alter. The world's clamor fades, replaced by permission to simply exist, to breathe deeply, to feel fully, to rest without expectation. This is a gentle reclamation, a slow unveiling of compassion toward yourself. Psychologists continue to explore whether such kindness can repair the wounds of overextension. Yet tonight, you sense its tender power growing inside. Your muscles unwind fully, releasing their hold, like vines relaxing in a gentle breeze. The weight you carry is soothing, grounding you tenderly in this moment. Your name hums softly within, a melody of belonging and truth waiting for you to embrace it. Once more, a quiet smile curves your lips, a humble celebration of your courage to pause, to honor your own pace. You remain here, cradled in the night's soft embrace, safe, whole, and deeply at peace. Your eyelids close gently now, folding like delicate petals beneath the moon's serene glow. The border between wakefulness and dreams dissolves softly, guiding you into the restorative calm of sleep. Good night. The darkness deepens, a vast, tender quiet wrapping around you like a gentle tide, drawing you slowly toward rest. Your breath flows softly, steady and calm, a rhythmic dance that sways in harmony with the silent pulse of night. Scientists continue to study whether this simple rhythm can soothe the restless mind or merely signals a shift toward stillness. But for you, it feels like a delicate invitation to simply be. Your thoughts have softened into a quiet melody, drifting like leaves carried by a slow-moving stream. They resemble forgotten pages from a well-loved book, faint impressions waiting patiently to be turned over again. You watch them glide without grasping, surrendering to their gentle passage as the world around you quiets further. You recall how often you have molded yourself to fit into spaces carved by others, smoothing your edges until your own contours felt indistinct. Like water pressed into various vessels, you adapted, sometimes at the expense of your own shape. Experts debate whether such adaptability is a protective gift or a subtle loss of self. Yet tonight, you simply acknowledge the balance without judgment. Within this stillness, a fragile light awakens, a quiet haven nestled deep inside, glowing softly with the promise of rediscovery. This refuge is painted with hues of peace and possibility, inviting you to rest and breathe gently. Your thoughts curl nearby, like companions settling into warm, familiar seats, savoring the calm. There is no need to repair or change anything in this moment. The world's relentless demands soften and recede, leaving space for you to simply exist, to breathe freely, to feel fully, and to rest without pressure. This is a tender reclaiming, a gradual unfolding of self-kindness. Scholars still discuss whether such compassion can truly heal the scars of constant giving. But tonight, its quiet strength is palpable. Your body unwinds completely, tension melting away like frost under a gentle sun. The weight you carry is comforting, an anchor that grounds you gently in the present. Deep within, your name hums softly, a sacred song waiting to be heard and honored once again. A serene smile graces your lips, a gentle tribute to your bravery in pausing, in stepping back from the endless demands, and in embracing stillness. Here, cradled by night's tender embrace, you are safe to be wholly yourself. Your eyelids fold closed like petals closing beneath the moon's soft glow. The veil between wakefulness and dreams lifts gently, allowing you to drift slowly and beautifully into the restorative depths of sleep. Good night. The quiet of the night deepens further, a vast expanse of stillness that feels both tender and infinite. Your breath continues its steady rhythm, soft and unhurried, a gentle tide that rises and falls with soothing certainty. Some psychologists still wonder whether this rhythmic breathing truly calms the mind as restless seas. or simply signals the body that it's time to rest. Tonight, it feels like a gentle invitation, a whispered promise of peace. Your thoughts have slowed into a serene procession, drifting like delicate petals carried on a quiet stream. They remind you of faded photographs in an old album, images of a self waiting to be rediscovered, moments waiting patiently beneath the surface. You watch without trying to grasp or hold, content to observe their tranquil passage. You reflect on how often you've shaped yourself to meet others' expectations, molding your presence and softening your voice until your true essence felt distant. Like water pressed into many shapes, you adapted, sometimes losing sight of your original form. Psychologists debate whether this malleability is protective or eroding, but tonight you simply acknowledge it, free from judgment. Within this stillness, a gentle glow awakens, a small sanctuary within your heart, warm and inviting. It's a place painted in soft colors of hope and rest, where your authentic self begins to stir. Your thoughts nestle nearby, like old friends gathering around a quiet fire, sharing warmth and peace. There is no need to fix or change anything right now. The world's demands fade, replaced by a tender invitation to simply be, to breathe, to feel, to rest without expectation or worry. This moment is a gentle reclaiming, a slow unfolding of kindness toward yourself. Psychologists still debate whether self compassion can heal deep wounds caused by constant giving. But tonight, you feel its quiet strength growing. Your body relaxes completely, muscles releasing tension like leaves falling softly to the earth. The heaviness you feel is soothing, an anchor grounding you gently in the present. Your name hums softly inside, a melody of belonging and truth, waiting to be embraced once more. A gentle smile forms on your lips, a quiet celebration of your courage to pause and honor your own needs. You rest here, embraced by the night's tender arms, safe to simply exist as you are. Your eyelids close fully, folding like delicate petals under the moon's soft glow. The line between waking and dreaming blurs gently, inviting you to drift slowly, beautifully, into the restorative sanctuary of sleep. Good night. You feel the night envelop your body with a softness, almost tangible, as if the air around you were woven from invisible threads of silk, gently caressing your skin without haste. Each inhale brings a light, fresh breeze that flows within, cleansing the hidden corners of your tired mind. And as you exhale, there's a slow release, like letting go of small dry leaves you gathered throughout the day. Effortlessly, weightlessly, deep inside, there's a different kind of stillness than you've known before. It's not the silence of emptiness, but a fullness, like an open field under a clear sky, where the sounds of life have faded away to make room for calm. There, your thoughts are no longer hurried voices, but whispers drifting in the wind, broken down into light particles floating around you. There's no rush to hold them, just an invitation to observe. You gently recall the last time you said no, perhaps a timid word, a subtle crack in the immense wall of yes you've built to please. And in that moment, maybe you felt a strange shiver, a mix of guilt and freedom. Psychologists debate whether that instant is a turning point or merely a brief pause in routine. For you, it is a seed planted in fertile soil, a beginning that still needs time to bloom. The memory of that no grows slowly, like moonlight entering a dark room, casting shadows that reveal previously unseen contours. It is there, in the soft dusk that you begin to rediscover forgotten traces, small desires, nearly silenced wishes, the voice that asks only to be heard. That voice doesn't shout, it patiently waits, like a flame that never went out. Meanwhile, your body responds to this rediscovery. The tension accumulated within you unwinds gradually, as if an internal knot were carefully and delicately loosened. The sensation is like an invisible embrace wrapping you from head to toe, a comfort that doesn't pressure but supports. You don't need to do anything now, just allow yourself to be. This is the gift you give yourself. You realize your name, that word that once seemed distant and nearly forgotten, isn't just a label. It's an invitation to reconnect with the essence pulsing in your chest, a unique melody deserving to be sung, even if only in a whisper. There's no rush to reclaim everything at once. It's enough to accept that it's all there, waiting for the right moment. Around you, the environment is a tapestry of soft sounds, the gentle rustling of leaves, the distant murmur of a city that never truly sleeps, the steady hum of a fan that lulls the air with a constant rhythm. Each of these sounds acts as a silent guide, pointing you toward the tranquility you deserve to find. A calm smile forms on your lips, born from the deep understanding that the path to serenity is made up of small acts, pauses, gentle choices, self-acceptance. This journey doesn't need haste or sudden dramatic change. It's a step-by-step walk, light in knowing that time is an ally, not an enemy. And so, as your eyes close slowly, like petals folding at dusk, you allow yourself to drift into a rest that asks nothing more than your presence. The space between waking and dreaming dissolves into a soft haze, and you float gently toward a place where peace is whole and your soul can breathe freely. Good night. The quiet around you deepens, folding softly like a gentle breath settling into the room. Your chest rises and falls with an effortless rhythm, each breath a slow tide washing away the remnants of a busy day. There's no rush here, no pressure to fix or change, just the soft invitation to be fully present with yourself. Psychologists still wonder whether this kind of mindful breathing quiets the restless mind or simply offers a momentary pause. But tonight, it feels like a gentle hand guiding you toward ease. Your thoughts drift like soft petals on a lazy river, unhurried and light. They remind you of scattered notes in an old journal, fragments of feelings and memories, waiting patiently to be touched again. You watch them pass without holding on, enjoying their delicate dance as they float past. You remember the times you shaped yourself around others' needs, how you softened your voice, tucked away your wants, and blended into spaces that weren't always made for you. Like water poured into many different cups, you adapted to fit, sometimes losing sight of your own shape. Scholars debate whether this is a survival skill or a slow fading of identity, but tonight you acknowledge it simply as part of your story. In this peaceful moment, a gentle light begins to glow inside, a small, quiet sanctuary where your true self starts to emerge. It's a space painted with soft colors of hope and rest, inviting you to relax and breathe deeply. Your thoughts settle nearby, like old friends, sharing warmth and quiet companionship. You don't need to solve anything tonight. The world's demands fade away, replaced by the simple permission to just be, to breathe, to feel, and to rest without expectation. This is a tender reclaiming of your own kindness, a slow unfolding of compassion toward yourself. Psychologists continue to study whether such self compassion can heal the deep wounds caused by constant giving, but tonight you feel its soft strength growing within you. Your body unwinds completely, muscles releasing tension like leaves falling gently in autumn. The heaviness you feel is soothing, a comforting anchor grounding you in the present moment. Your name hums softly within, a song of belonging and truth, waiting patiently to be rediscovered. A quiet smile forms on your lips, a gentle celebration of your courage to pause, step back, and honor your own rhythm. You rest here, wrapped in the night's tender embrace, safe and whole. Your eyelids close fully, folding gently like petals beneath the moon's warm glow. The space between wakefulness and dreams blurs softly, inviting you to drift slowly and beautifully into the healing sanctuary of sleep. Good night. The night wraps you in its gentle embrace, a calm so profound it feels like a soft sigh exhaled by the universe itself. Your breath continues its steady rhythm, a quiet melody weaving through the stillness, lulling every part of you toward ease. Psychologists still ponder whether this gentle cadence quiets the brain's endless chatter or simply marks a peaceful pause. But in this moment, it is your sanctuary, a safe harbor from the day's noise. Your thoughts now wander like delicate wisps of fog over a tranquil lake, shifting and dissolving without urgency. They remind you of forgotten poems, written on the margins of old notebooks, soft, fragile words, waiting patiently to be heard again. You allow them to drift past, neither holding tight nor pushing away, simply existing alongside you in quiet companionship. You recall the many times you softened your edges to fit the expectations of others, molding your presence like clay shaped by unseen hands. This constant adaptation sometimes blurred the contours of your own self, leaving behind a gentle ache of forgetfulness. Psychologists debate whether this fluidity is a protective shield or a gradual fading, but tonight you embrace the truth with kindness and curiosity. Within you, a tender light flickers, a private room where your authentic self gathers strength and peace. It glows softly, painted in hues of comfort and possibility, inviting you to rest and be fully seen. Your thoughts settle nearby, like cherished friends sharing quiet warmth on a cool evening. There is no need to fix or change anything now. The world's demands soften and fade, replaced by a quiet invitation to simply be, to breathe deeply, to feel fully, to rest without judgment or expectation. This moment is a gentle reclaiming, a slow unfolding of self-love. Psychologists still discuss whether such compassion can heal the deepest wounds of overgiving. But tonight, you feel its soothing power blooming inside. Your body relaxes further, muscles unwinding like vines freed from tight grasp. The heaviness you feel is a comforting anchor, grounding you gently in this present moment. Your name hums softly within, a melody of belonging and truth waiting to be embraced anew. A soft smile curves your lips, a silent celebration of your courage to pause, to step back, and to honor your own pace. You rest here, wrapped in the night's tender arms, safe and whole. Your eyelids fold closed like delicate petals beneath the moon's gentle glow. The boundary between wakefulness and dreaming dissolves, inviting you to drift slowly, beautifully, into the restorative calm of sleep. Good night. The stillness deepens around you, a soft and steady blanket woven from the quiet breaths of night. You feel yourself sinking ever so gently into this peaceful embrace. where time stretches and folds like the gentle ripples on a calm lake. Your breathing remains unhurried, a tender rhythm that carries you farther from the noise of the day and closer to the quiet sanctuary within. Psychologists still debate whether this deep breath signals a rest to the mind or simply marks a pause. But tonight, it feels like a doorway opening softly to peace. Your thoughts drift without resistance, like small lanterns floating down a slow-moving stream. They flicker lightly, each one a tender memory or feeling, waiting patiently to be welcomed home. There is no rush to hold them or push them away, only the quiet presence of awareness that watches with kindness. You think back to the many moments you've reshaped yourself to fit the expectations of others, softening your edges, lowering your voice, folding into spaces not meant for your full presence. Like a river flowing around stones, you adapted, sometimes losing sight of your own path. Scholars still discuss whether this adaptability is survival or surrender, but tonight you honor it as part of your journey without judgment. Within this gentle quiet, a small light kindles, a warm room within your heart where your true self begins to stir. It glows softly, a beacon of rest and possibility, inviting you to settle and breathe deeply. Your thoughts gather nearby, like friends sharing a silent, comforting presence. You don't have to fix or change anything now. The world's demands fade away, replaced by a quiet invitation to simply be, to breathe, to feel, to rest in the softness of this moment. This is a slow reclaiming, a tender unfolding of kindness for yourself. Psychologists continue to explore whether such self-compassion can mend the wounds of overgiving. But tonight, you feel its gentle strength blossoming inside. Your body releases tension completely, muscles unwinding like vines letting go of their hold. The weight you feel is soothing, a grounding force holding you gently in the present. Your name hums softly within, a melody of belonging and truth, waiting for your gentle voice to embrace it again. A calm smile touches your lips, a quiet celebration of your courage to pause, to step back, and to honor your own rhythm. You rest here, cradled by the night's tender arms, safe and whole. Your eyelids close fully now, folding like soft petals beneath the moon's serene glow. The line between waking and dreaming softens, dissolving into a warm haze. You drift slowly, beautifully, into the deep, healing quiet of sleep. Good night. The night deepens like a slow river folding into itself, carrying you effortlessly along its gentle current. Your breath remains steady and unhurried, a soft drumbeat beneath the quiet song of darkness. Psychologists still debate whether this rhythmic breathing quiets the mind or simply invites it to rest momentarily. But tonight, it feels like a sacred invitation, a pause that holds you tenderly. Your thoughts now glide like feathers on a breeze, weightless and free. They remind you of forgotten melodies, soft and elusive, waiting quietly to be remembered. You watch them drift past without grasping, allowing their lightness to soothe your restless spirit. You recall how you've often softened yourself, molding your edges to fit the shapes others carved out for you. Like clay pressed and reformed, sometimes you lost sight of your own form beneath the layers of adaptation. Psychologists debate whether this is a survival skill or a quiet surrender of selfhood. But tonight you simply observe, free from judgment. Within this sacred stillness, a gentle flame flickers, a warm refuge within your heart where your true self begins to bloom again. It's a place painted in quiet hues of hope, and healing, inviting you to rest and breathe deeply. Your thoughts gather like cherished friends around a softly glowing fire, sharing warmth and peace. There's no need to rush or fix anything. The world's demands fade like distant echoes, replaced by an invitation to simply be, to breathe fully, to feel deeply, and to rest without pressure or expectation. This is a tender reclaiming, a slow unfolding of kindness toward yourself. Psychologists continue to explore whether self compassion can heal the scars of overgiving, but tonight you feel its gentle power blossoming inside. Your body unwinds completely, muscles releasing their hold, like vines dropping their leaves in autumn. The heaviness you feel is a soothing anchor, grounding you in the present moment with grace. Your name hums softly within, a sacred song waiting to be sung aloud once more. A serene smile touches your lips, a quiet celebration of your courage to pause, to step back, and to honor your own rhythm. You rest here, cradled in the night's tender embrace, safe and whole. Your eyelids close gently now, folding like petals beneath the moon's soft glow. The boundary between waking and dreaming dissolves, welcoming you into the peaceful sanctuary of sleep. Good night. The night around you deepens, its silence thick and soft, like the plush velvet lining of a hidden sanctuary. Your breath flows slowly and evenly, each inhalation a gentle invitation, each exhale a soft surrender. Psychologists still debate whether this steady breath quiets the mind, as endless chatter, or simply signals the body to rest. But tonight, it feels like both, a soothing rhythm that holds you gently in place. Your thoughts drift like delicate clouds across a vast, open sky, light, slow moving, and unburdened by urgency. They remind you of forgotten letters tucked away in an old drawer, waiting patiently to be found again. You watch these moments float by without grasping, content to simply observe their quiet dance. You recall the many times you reshaped yourself to meet others' needs, softening your voice, dimming your desires, fitting into spaces not made for your full presence. Like water molded into various vessels, you adapted, sometimes losing sight of your own shape. Psychologists debate whether this flexibility is a survival skill or a gradual fading of self. But tonight, you hold this truth gently, without judgment. Within this serene stillness, a faint glow awakens, a quiet refuge within your heart where your authentic self begins to stir. This space is painted in soft hues of peace and possibility, inviting you to rest and breathe deeply. Your thoughts settle nearby, like old friends sharing a warm and silent company. There is no need to fix or change anything now. The world's demands ebb away, replaced by the simple permission to be, to breathe, to feel, to rest without expectation. This is a tender reclaiming, a slow unfolding of self-kindness. Psychologists continue to explore whether such compassion can heal the wounds caused by constant giving. But tonight, you feel its gentle strength growing within. Your body relaxes completely, muscles unfurling like petals opening to the morning sun. The weight you carry is comforting, a grounding force anchoring you to the present moment. Your name hums softly within, a song of belonging and truth waiting to be embraced again. A peaceful smile graces your lips, a quiet celebration of your bravery to pause, to step back, and to honor your own rhythm. You rest here, wrapped in the night's tender arms, safe and whole. Your eyelids close fully, folding like delicate petals beneath the moon's soft glow. the boundary between wakefulness and dreams dissolves, inviting you to drift slowly, beautifully, into the healing depths of sleep. Good night. The night has settled in fully now, like a deep, velvety cloak, draping over everything you know and don't know. It's the kind of darkness that isn't empty or cold, but full, brimming with softness, like a well-worn quilt that has absorbed countless quiet breaths and gentle sighs. The air around you feels thick with this quiet warmth, as though the world itself is exhaling alongside you. Your breath moves in sync, a steady, gentle rhythm that anchors you to this moment, a rhythm that has no rush, no urgency, only slow unfolding and tender return. You are wrapped in this stillness, a presence so vast and gentle, it feels like a sanctuary crafted just for you. Psychologists still debate whether this experience of deep, unhurried calm can truly reset the restless mind, or if it is simply the body's way of signaling readiness for sleep. For you, it is both, a soft threshold where the noisy world dims and the inner landscape reveals itself in gentle hues and quiet shapes. Your thoughts now drift with a slow and meandering grace, like small paper boats floating lazily down a wide, slow river. Each one carries fragments of yourself, memories, feelings, questions, resting lightly on the surface, bobbing without struggle or haste. They remind you of delicate autumn leaves caught in a gentle breeze, swirling softly before settling quietly on the ground. You watch them pass by with tender curiosity, neither grasping nor chasing, simply allowing their soft movement to lull you further into the embrace of night. It's in moments like this that you might begin to recall the many ways you have folded yourself, shaped yourself, and softened your edges to fit the expectations and desires of others. You remember how you learned, almost without realizing, to adjust your voice, to measure your laughter, to pause your own needs in favor of harmony and ease. This was not a conscious choice, but a quiet habit born from kindness and sometimes necessity, a delicate dance that kept you safe in a world that often asked for more than you could give. Psychologists continue to discuss whether this shape-shifting is a protective survival mechanism or a slow, unintentional erosion of self. Perhaps it is both, a paradox held in the quiet tension between being seen and being safe. Tonight, however, you don't need to decide. You only need to notice, to feel the weight and tenderness of this truth without judgment or urgency. Within this tender awareness, a small, fragile space opens inside you, a room bathed in soft light and gentle shadows, a place where your true self has been quietly waiting. It is not loud or demanding, but steady and warm, like the flickering flame of a candle in a quiet room. This flame has never truly gone out. It has simply been sheltered beneath layers of yes, okay, and I'll do it. Now, in the hush of the night, it begins to glow softly again, inviting you to step closer. Your thoughts, once hurried and insistent, now curl up like cats on warm windowsills, content to rest, to observe, to simply be. There is a gentle humor in this, an unexpected lightness that reminds you how much effort you once gave to the act of holding it all together, and how beautifully human it is to finally allow the weight to lift. You begin to sense that the journey inward is not a race or a battle, but a slow and delicate unfolding, like a flower blooming at dawn. It's the kind of growth that asks for patience and tenderness, not force or urgency. You are learning, perhaps for the first time, that you do not need to solve everything at once. You only need to hold space for yourself, softly, kindly, without expectation. Your body responds to this unfolding with a deep, abiding relaxation. Muscles that once held tension, like tightly wound cords, now loosen and stretch, releasing in waves of warmth and ease. The heaviness you feel is not oppressive, but a sweet, grounding weight that anchors you fully in the present moment. It is as though your body remembers what it means to be safe, to be held, to be at rest. You bring your awareness to your name, the sound and feeling of it, not as others have called it, but as it resonates deep within your heart. It is not just a word, but a song, unique, soft, and real. You may have forgotten it along the way, muffled beneath the noise of endless obligations, but tonight it hums quietly, a gentle reminder that you are here, you are enough, and you are whole. A smile, small and genuine, touches your lips, not because everything is perfect, but because you are here now, fully present with yourself in this moment of rest. You honor the courage it takes to pause, to breathe, to simply be. This smile is a quiet acknowledgement of your resilience, your kindness, and the profound humanity of your journey. The room around you breathes with soft sounds, the distant rustling of leaves stirred by a mild breeze, the gentle hum of a fan turning steadily, the subtle rhythm of your own heartbeat steady and sure. These sounds weave together into a lullaby composed by the night itself, holding you close in its tender embrace. Your eyelids grow heavy, folding down slowly, like petals closing to protect a fragile bloom. The boundary between wakefulness and dreaming softens and blurs into a warm, embracing haze. You feel yourself drifting, slowly and beautifully, into the vast sanctuary of sleep, where peace is complete and renewal awaits. In this sacred space, the world's demands are distant whispers, and you are free to rest fully, body, mind, and spirit. The gentle darkness carries you deeper, cradling you with the softest hands. And in this moment, you are exactly where you need to be. Good night. The night stretches on, vast and tender, a soft expanse that seems to hold the weight of all your unspoken thoughts and quietly whispered fears. The air around you is thick with a peaceful hush, like a deep, dark lake where every ripple slows and finally comes to rest. Your breath, slow and even, flows through you like a gentle stream meandering through a quiet forest, steady, calm, inviting you to release every last fragment of tension. This breath is your anchor in the soft darkness, each inhale drawing you inward, each exhale a release deeper into rest. Psychologists often explore whether this steady rhythm might quiet the mind's restless dance, or simply mark a pause before new thoughts arise. Tonight, it feels like a lullaby, an ancient song sung just for you, a melody that wraps around your heart and soothes your soul. Your thoughts have become scattered embers, glowing faintly and drifting slowly across the vast night sky of your awareness. They are fragments of memories, half-forgotten dreams, and the small, tender desires you have long tucked away. These flickers remind you of autumn leaves, swirling gently in a soft breeze, never rushed, always patient, falling where they may. You watch them with a quiet, accepting curiosity, not needing to catch or change them. You remember the countless moments you bent and shaped yourself to fit the expectations and needs of others. Like clay, softly molded by many hands, you took on forms that weren't always your own, smoothing your edges to avoid cracks or discomfort. This adaptability, while often a gift, sometimes left you feeling hollow, a shadow stretched thin and fading beneath the weight of constant accommodation. Psychologists debate whether this flexibility is a form of resilience or a slow fading of identity. But tonight, you simply acknowledge the complexity with gentle compassion. In the midst of this tender space, a soft light kindles, a quiet sanctuary deep within you, where your true self begins to stir, awakened by the gentle quiet. This refuge glows with the warmth of possibility and peace, inviting you to step inside and rest. Your thoughts gather softly, like old friends settling into comfortable chairs, sharing a silent companionship that feels like home. There is no urgency here, no need to solve, to fix, or to perform. The cacophony of the day dissolves into a soothing hum, replaced by a gentle invitation to simply be, to breathe deeply, to feel fully, to rest without apology or expectation. This moment is a delicate reclaiming of your kindness for yourself, a slow unfolding of compassion that grows stronger with every breath. Psychologists continue to explore the power of self-compassion in healing the wounds of overgiving. But tonight, you feel its quiet strength blossoming within. Your body responds in kind, muscles melting away tension like snow beneath a warming sun. The weight you carry feels less like a burden and more like an anchor, steady, grounding, anchoring you tenderly to the here and now. Deep inside, your name hums softly, a sacred song, a truth waiting to be rediscovered and sung in your own voice, gentle and sure. A peaceful smile curves your lips, a quiet celebration of your courage to pause, to release, to honor the rhythm that is uniquely yours. You rest here, wrapped in the tender arms of the night, safe and whole. Your eyelids fall closed like petals, folding beneath the moon's gentle gaze. The boundary between wakefulness and dreams dissolves softly, and you drift slowly, beautifully, into the vast, healing sanctuary of sleep. Good night. The night around you settles deeper, folding its quiet darkness like a soft cloak, gentle and unyielding. It stretches wide and vast, embracing your whole being with a tenderness that feels almost tangible, as if the very air is infused with calm, woven from threads of comfort and rest. Your breath moves with a steady grace, slow and rhythmic, like the ebb and flow of a distant tide, endlessly patient and unhurried. Each inhale carries with it a breath of peace, a whisper of stillness that gathers softly within your chest. Each exhale releases a gentle surrender, a letting go of the day's many demands and expectations, folding them away like delicate petals falling from a tree in autumn. Psychologists still debate whether this mindful breathing serves as a soothing balm for the restless mind, or simply a signal from the body to prepare for rest. Tonight, for you, it is both. A tender lullaby that cradles you closer to the sanctuary of sleep. Your thoughts have softened into a quiet, drifting melody, like small paper boats floating lazily down a calm river. They carry fragments of yourself, memories, feelings, quiet questions, gliding without urgency or tension. These boats remind you of scattered autumn leaves, tumbling softly in a gentle breeze before resting peacefully on the earth. You watch them pass without reaching out, a silent observer surrendering to the rhythm of their flow. You recall how often you have folded and reshaped yourself to fit the contours carved by others. Expectations, like water pressed into varying vessels, You adapted and softened your edges, sometimes at the cost of your own clarity and form. Psychologists continue to explore whether this fluidity is a protective survival skill or a slow erasure of the self. But tonight, you simply hold this truth gently, without judgment or urgency. Within this tender stillness, a fragile light kindles, a quiet refuge nestled deep within your heart where your true self begins to stir. This inner sanctuary glows softly, bathed in hues of comfort, hope, and possibility. It invites you to rest here, to breathe deeply, to allow yourself to be fully seen and fully present. Your thoughts settle around this light like old friends gathering in a cozy room, sharing warmth and silent understanding. There is no rush or demand here, no need to fix, to change, or to perform. The relentless noise of the world grows faint and distant, replaced by a gentle invitation to simply be, to breathe, to feel, to rest without expectation or guilt. This moment is a tender reclaiming, a slow unfolding of kindness toward yourself. Psychologists debate whether such self compassion can heal the deep wounds caused by constant overgiving, but tonight you feel its quiet power blooming gently within. Your body responds to this unfolding with a deep, calming relaxation. Muscles unwind and lengthen like vines slowly unfurling in the early morning sun. The heaviness that settles upon you is not a burden, but a sweet, grounding weight, a comforting anchor, tethering you to the present moment. Within, your name hums softly, a sacred song, a melody of belonging and truth, waiting patiently for you to reclaim and sing it aloud, softly and proudly. A smile, subtle and serene, forms on your lips, a quiet tribute to your bravery in pausing, stepping back, and honoring your own pace. You rest here, enveloped in the gentle embrace of night, safe and whole. Your eyelids close fully now, folding gently like petals in a moonlit garden. The boundary between wakefulness and dreaming softens, dissolving into a warm, tender haze. You drift slowly, beautifully, into the vast sanctuary of sleep, where peace waits patiently to cradle you through the night. The deep stillness of night becomes a gentle ocean that rocks you with a softness so profound it feels like a tender lullaby, sung by the stars themselves. Each breath you take is a weave washing over your consciousness, slow and sure, inviting you to sink deeper into this vast, quiet expanse where time itself seems to stretch and yawn. Psychologists often consider these moments as windows into the mind's restorative rhythms, places where healing and renewal quietly unfold. Tonight, you are anchored here, held by the infinite calm that invites no resistance, only surrender. Your thoughts have diminished to shimmering specks of light, like fireflies floating gently across a dark meadow. They pulse faintly, fading and reappearing, no longer clamoring or racing, but existing simply as soft glimmers against the velvety blackness. These sparks remind you of half-remembered dreams and whispered hopes, tender pieces of your soul waiting patiently for the right moment to bloom fully. You watch with tender curiosity, giving each its space to be without grasping or pushing away. In this vast quiet, you begin to sense the contours of your own self emerging from the haze, a presence that has been quietly waiting beneath layers of acquiescence and compromise. It is not a sudden revelation, but a slow and delicate awakening, like the soft unfurling of a fern frond in early spring. Psychologists still explore whether identity lost through years of people pleasing can be fully reclaimed, or if it must be rediscovered anew. Tonight, you feel the gentle pulse of that rediscovery, steady and sure. You remember the countless moments when you stretched yourself thin to meet the needs of others, the soft nods, the quiet adjustments, the invisible sacrifices made so effortlessly they became invisible, even to yourself. This long habit of giving and reshaping was born of love and a deep desire to belong, yet it sometimes left you feeling fragmented and distant from your own center. Yet here, now, in this tender quiet, you begin to gather the scattered pieces, cradling them with compassion rather than judgment. Your body responds in kind. The tightness held deep in your shoulders unwinds like a soft ribbon slipping free. Your limbs grow heavy, warm, and relaxed, melting into the welcoming softness of your bed. The sensation is like sinking into a cloud, buoyed by gentle hands that know exactly how to hold you safely without restraint. The weight of exhaustion becomes a balm, an embrace that quiets the restless mind and soothes the overworked heart. Deep within you, your name whispers once more, a sacred melody of belonging, identity, and self love. It is not shouted or demanded, but sung softly, a lullaby that cradles your soul. You may have forgotten its tune amidst the noise of endless giving, but now it hums clearly, a comforting presence that promises you are here, you are enough, you are whole. A quiet smile warms your lips, born of gratitude and a tender courage. It is the smile of someone who has journeyed far through the labyrinth of obligation and is finally finding the way home. You rest here, wrapped in the night's gentle arms, safe to simply be yourself without apology or performance. Your eyelids close like the final petals folding at twilight, soft and full, sheltering a fragile bloom beneath the moon's gentle gaze. The threshold between wakefulness and dreams fades into a misty veil, and you drift effortlessly, beautifully, into the restorative embrace of sleep, where peace is complete and renewal awaits. Good night. The night has folded itself around you like a soft, warm quilt, carefully stitched with threads of quiet moments and tender breath. Each inhalation draws in a gentle stillness, the kind that settles deep into your bones and whispers that for now you are safe. Each exhalation releases the weight of endless yeses and quiet maybes you've carried for so long, loosening their grip until they drift softly away, like autumn leaves carried on a lazy breeze. You lie there, cradled by the darkness and the silence, feeling the world narrow to the simple rhythm of your breath, a slow, steady pulse echoing the timeless dance of waves washing softly onto shore. Psychologists still debate whether this rhythmic breath is a beacon calling the mind toward rest, or merely a quiet signal to the body that it is time to surrender. But tonight, you don't need to know which it is. You only need to feel the tender invitation to let go. Your thoughts have slowed to a gentle trickle, each one a small pebble in a clear stream, steady, quiet, unhurried. They remind you of the soft patter of rain on a rooftop, or the delicate tapping of a feather falling through air. You watch them float past without grasping, content to be a silent witness to their slow passage. Among them are the whispered hopes and half-remembered dreams you tucked away, hidden beneath layers of obligation and quiet sacrifice. You remember the times you stretched yourself thin, bending and molding to fit the spaces others left for you, softening your voice, muting your desires, and reshaping your identity to meet their needs. Like a shadow that lengthens and fades in the fading light, you sometimes felt yourself grow indistinct, a quiet echo of what you once were. Psychologists still explore whether this constant shape shifting is a survival skill or a slow erosion of selfhood. But tonight, you do not need to solve that puzzle. You simply honor the journey you've made. Within the vast stillness, a small light flickers, a quiet sanctuary deep inside your heart where your true self waits patiently to be rediscovered. It's a place painted in gentle hues of acceptance and hope, warmed by the soft glow of self compassion. Your thoughts gather here like old friends around a fireside, sharing quiet warmth and understanding without words. You realize that this journey inward is not about fixing what feels broken, but about holding yourself tenderly through the soft unraveling. It's a slow, gentle blooming, not a sudden awakening, like the first blush of dawn that seeps quietly over the horizon. It invites you to unfold at your own pace, to gently reclaim the parts of yourself that have been waiting patiently for your kindness. Your body responds with a profound relaxation. Muscles once tight with tension unravel like ribbons, melting into the softness of your bed. The heaviness you feel is no longer a burden, but a grounding presence, a sweet anchor that holds you gently in the moment. Deep within, your name hums softly, a sacred song of belonging and truth, a melody you might have forgotten, but that never truly left you. There is a quiet humor in this moment. A tender smile plays across your lips as you think about all the times you forgot yourself while trying to be everything for everyone else. The irony isn't lost on you, and it feels like a secret shared between your tired heart and the gentle night. You are more than the roles you have played, more than the expectations you've carried. You rest in that smile, savoring the grace it brings, the grace to pause, to breathe, to be exactly who you are without apology. The world's endless demands grow faint and distant, replaced by a calm that feels like a warm blanket folded around your soul. You are safe here. You are enough here. You are home here. Your eyelids close softly now, folding over your eyes like delicate petals closing in twilight. The boundary between waking and dreaming dissolves into a misty veil, opening you into the deep, healing sanctuary of sleep. You float slowly, beautifully, into that space where peace is whole and rest is complete. Good night.